What up, what up, what up, everybody? It's your boy DFS Up North here with another showdown podcast, video, whatever you want to call it. And we are talking about Sunday night football. Hold on, I'm like a little cockeyed. All right, there we go. We're talking about Sunday night football. We have a fantastic Sunday night football. I feel like we haven't necessarily had a ton of good ones lately, but this is one that I'm very excited about. We have the Chiefs and the Lions in KC. So we got lots of things going on that we're going to break down for you. We're going to talk about my favorite MVPs, my favorite captains. We're going to build some lineups. We're going to get to it. This is a fun game. We have a 52-point total. 25 points implied for the Lions on the road. Only a 2-point dog to the Chiefs, which I think they cover here. I think the Lions get it done tomorrow night, even though it's on the road, even though we have the Jared Goff narrative on the road. I do think that we see them smash here. So we're going to talk about FanDuel first today. Like I said, this is going to be, I think, a bonanza of fantasy points, which means that it's probably going to be a 13-10 kicker game, right? Feels like that's how these work sometimes when we really think that there's going to be lots of fantasy points. It's going to be, a little bit the exact opposite of what we think. So, all right, we got her together now. Let's talk about how I foresee this game going. I foresee the Lions having to throw the ball a ton. All right. Which is maybe, if you believe in the Jared Goff narrative of struggling on the road, that's going to be a little tough, right? And so far this season, he's been much better at home than he has been on the road. But this is a prime matchup against KC. Their defense is not as good as it has been in years past in the secondary, but they have been fairly stout against the run. We saw it last week with the Jags shutting down Travis Etienne, not Trevor. But yeah, Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence sort of getting it done with his legs a few times, which Jared Goff is not going to do here. But I do foresee them throwing it a ton. I can't quit doing that. But yeah, so my two favorite MVP plays on FanDuel, right? Where it is a little different this year. You guys remember we get the salary increase, we get the point increase this year. So you don't necessarily have to be the highest score on FanDuel to get it done. But I really do like two of the higher price guys, and that is Amon-Ra St. Brown and Patrick Mahomes. All right. St. Brown has 1,000 TD all over him here. And if he does that, I don't think there's any way anybody outscores him, or any way that he is not the nuts MVP unless we get a Kareem Hunt 3 touchdown game, which is feasible, I guess. But yeah, I see that. And then Mahomes, right? We talked about how I think that the Lions are really going to have to throw the ball a ton because the Chiefs have been pretty stout against the run. I think the opposite is true as well. I think that we're going to see Mahomes throw it a ton here against a secondary that has really struggled. The upside that we've seen with Mahomes this season so far is twofold, right? He spreads out the ball a ton. All right. We got Xavier Worthy. We got Tyquan Thornton, who's becoming one of his favorite targets, especially deep. We got Kelty. We got Hollywood Brown. We got Juju Smith-Schuster. There's a million guys he can throw the ball to here, including Kareem Hunt, including Isaiah Pacheco. And then, the secondary is really struggling, right? So that's huge. Now, the second part of this is that we've seen Mahomes take off with his legs. 3 games this year, over 55 yards. Now, the other 2 games barely ran at all, but I do think that we see him take off quite a bit here, and that gives him such a unique floor and ceiling combo, something that we haven't seen from Mahomes since the beginning of his career. He is just letting it buck out there. Love to see it, and that gives him some serious upside here. Talked about how the Chiefs have been good against the run, and beyond the fact that they're fairly good against the run, what is sort of an issue, at least in my eyes, with the Lions, and I mean the Chiefs do it too, but this is a 2-headed monster, and unless we see the 2-tutty game from Gibbs, or we see the touchdown pass from David Montgomery, it's going to be tough for either of them to be the nuts MVP. I think they're great flex plays on both sides, but I think it's going to be tough for unless we get a massive ceiling game from one of these guys to really be the guy. Now, Gibbs's usage in the passing game hasn't been as big of late. Only 4 targets in the last 2 games. That being said, those games have been blowouts, right? So I think that we could see Gibbs get a little more usage here. And if he does do that, then I think he's a little more live to be the nuts. But I really don't necessarily like either of these guys. The one cheapie that I do like is Sam Laporta. I just love the idea of a cheap tight end who can get 60, 70, 80 yards and a touchdown, and then what the rest of your lineup looks like. So when we build on FanDuel, we will talk about that as well. And actually, I like him on DraftKings too. Jared Goff is fine. I just think the non-rushing upside and then the narrative of being on the road, it is real. All right. It is a real thing. I hate it because I think Goff is a baller. I think that he is a dog. But yeah, but Kelsey, I think in the MVP, right? Like he's fine. 8 catches, 61 on a TD last week. Best performance of the season. Obviously upset that people were saying Taylor's album sucks. So, I mean, he's a decent punt. I think he's a great flex play on both sites. We'll see when we build here how you can he kind of ends up being the last guy in for me a lot. Kareem Hunt found the end zone twice last week, but the usage of these Chiefs running backs, Hunt, Pacheco, even like a Brashard Smith who's getting some passing game usage, is a decent value, but like there's just not enough to go around unless you get that 2 touchdown game from Kareem Hunt, right? Or that 2 touchdown game from Isaiah Pacheco. That's the only way these guys have even sniffing the MVP or the captain. So I'm really not that interested in them there. Again, good flex plays, not so much the other way around. When we talk about flex on FanDuel, I do love Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I really love Patrick Mahomes. Like this pricing is stupid. Why is Patrick Mahomes $1,000 less than Amon-Ra? That makes no sense to me. So I am like core smashing him there. Let's keep going down. Guys that we haven't talked about yet, Xavier Worthy looked fine in his return last week. Here's the thing. I think one of these Chiefs wide receivers is going to pop off here. Who that is? Guys, I don't know. That is the question. The secondary is dealing with injuries. They're just not very good to begin with. We saw Jake Browning and Jamar Chase go off last week. I think you're going to see something similar here. Who that's going to be remains to be seen. My guess is Worthy, right? But it could be Tyquan Thornton. It could be Hollywood Brown at low ownership. All right. So I think that he's fine. I prefer sort of the cheaper guys sometimes, but you got to get some exposure to Worthy. We talked a little bit about Monty. Unless he throws a touchdown, I just don't know that he gets there, or he gets like the 2 touchdown game, which is always sort of scary to watch these games and see the Lions get near the goal line and go, oh boy, who's getting it here? Especially if you fade Monty. So that's something to consider if you're building. And then let me move this, see if I get less shadow. Talked about Kelsey. I think he's a pretty good value in the flex. Jamison Williams, like he has massive upside. I really like him in the captain slot because of the cheap price tag. But the 8 out of 20, like he is getting an average depth of target of 20 yards down the field. If he brings in 1, he's threatening. If he brings in 2, like guys, he is smashing. All right, so we've got this big play, but the floor again fairly low. But I think that we see a Jamison Williams touchdown. I am going to be massively overweight on Williams this week. Pacheco, I think that everybody's going to maybe flock to Hunt, and rightfully so, especially on FanDuel where the price is $2,000. So Pacheco's going to be really alone. He's sneaky. Laporte is far too cheap on FanDuel. We love him. I don't know that this is going to necessarily be a kicker game, though. I think back to another game that Goff and Mahomes played against each other in Mexico City a couple years ago. We saw this Rams versus the Chiefs. We had Cooper Kupp. We had all these guys, all these big names. I even think maybe Todd Gurley was still playing. I don't know. I can't remember that far back. But what I remember was this game went for almost 90 points, and we saw a kicker be the nuts. All right. So that potential is there, right? We get some weird sort of game where everybody balls out, but then we get a kicker who kicks 4 field goals, right? And the pricing brings him into the nuts conversation. Something to consider. I'm really not playing that this week, but it's absolutely a viable option if you want to. This game sort of gives me some feelings of that game from a couple of years ago. I can't remember what year that was. I should look it up. We talked about Hollywood Brown. I think he's fine. Like since week 1, he's really done nothing. He's kind of the third option here. Defenses, no interest. Again, 52-point total. If they score a TD and we get beat by a defense in this game, I'm fine with that. Hunt is mega cheap. on FanDuel, you have to play him over there. If you're playing like a cash lineup, I think that Hunt has to be in it. Tyquan Thornton, I really like as well. They're looking at him deep at 90 yards last game. I think that he has a good game here. And it's just going to see his role continue to increase until Rashee Rice gets back. Then we'll see. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's actually getting a ton of yards after the catch. He's catching these like short little, I think his average depth of target is 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, but he's getting decent yards after catch. So, I mean, he could scramble into the end zone on one of these. Tesla, I think we see get more usage this week. Wiz Khalifa is dealing with some injuries in his neck. I think that we see Tesla sort of take over some of that. And, you know, D versus position is good. The projections don't like him, 2.65. But hey, I'm gonna play some Isaac Tesla. The guy is a baller. Some of these catches he makes are unreal. As we keep going down here, we've got Noah Gray, who burned me last week. Brashard Smith, I do like as a sort of punt, more so on DraftKings where we're getting the points for the passing game. But he had nine snaps last week and got the ball on 8 of them. So if Brashard Smith's on the field, it's likely that he's getting the ball. So he's getting some touches, right? They're slowly working him in. They don't really trust him outside of, hey, we're going to run this play. You're going to be in. So maybe they get one near the end zone, right? Or he busts one. So I think that he is a guy that a sort of turd type play that can get there. Like I said, Raymond's dealing with an injury. The rest of these guys are sort of turds. Like Tanyan's playing. He's not had a target yet. Brock Wright did catch a touchdown pass from David Montgomery last week. If they run that play again, that would be crazy. But let's build a lineup on the duel. All right, let me see here. I thought I had her up. What happened to me? Okay, let's get her going here. Let's get this one up. Oh, we're not going to play the Juggernaut. These are the mains, you guys. Goodness. Let's go to, all right, fine. We'll go to DraftKings while I get this set up in the background here. Let me see. There we go. All right, let's talk a little bit about DraftKings. DraftKings, my pool of players is quite a bit bigger in terms of the captain, just because it's, you know, the PPR makes a big difference in lineup construction. So I am absolutely more likely to get some different guys in there. And then the salary changes things a little bit as well. My favorite captain this week is absolutely going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like I said, he is just the most likely guy to get into the nuts. Like 100 yards is nothing. 10 catches is nothing. He is absolutely smash worthy over there. So my favorite play over there. And again, I am very much, guys, a never Mahomes guy. And for me to really be on Mahomes this week is a little intriguing. It's not something I normally do, but the rushing, I'm excited about it. All right. Otherwise, it's all pretty much the same. I would say that the guy that I'm willing to take some chances on, like a Tyquan Thornton, a Jameson Williams, more on DraftKings than I am on FanDuel because of that full point PPR. All right. Just gives him a little better floor, helps him get to the ceiling a little bit higher. Jameson Williams, I really like this week, guys. I really do. And Samuel Porter too. I think that the path to victory on DraftKings is maybe not as low as like a kicker like I was talking about, but I think that the path is absolutely potentially through one of those cheaper wide receivers this week, even if Amon-Ra, even if Jared Goff, even if Jahmyr Gibbs have big days, right? Amon-Ra core play in the flex for me. Jameson Williams, we talked about. Kickers, fine. Pacheco and Hunt are actually flip-flop in price over here. So maybe what you can do is sort of hedge on one side, head with the other, right? Get all your Hunt exposure on FanDuel because he's cheaper, and then the Pacheco exposure on DraftKings because he has been catching more passes of late. Or you could do the opposite where the ownership's going to be flipped and play the Pacheco on FanDuel where he's lower owned, right? I do like the GPP aspect of that. Like that, Brashard Smith is much more expensive, but I think fine. Again, there's just not a lot of turdly players here to really get it done for you this week. So let me get this back up here. All right, let's talk about FanDuel and build lineups there first. So we talked about, let's see. All right, Mahomes MVP. That's my favorite play. Okay. and I put him in the flex. So let's not do that. Let's get him in the MVP. But yeah, I do like the Mahomes MVP piece, 18,000. Love that. All right. I talked about how I really do like Amon-Ra to smash this week. So we're gonna get that. Now here's the thing. This sort of lineup construction is going to essentially eliminate you from playing someone like Jared Goff, from playing someone like Jahmyr Gibbs. All right. Which is scary. Absolutely. Okay. So who do you think is going now? The question is like, all right, who is Mahomes going to throw the ball to? Okay. I am personally scrolling all the way down here and slamming in Tyquan Thornton just to give me some salary relief. Okay. 8,000 per player. So we really don't necessarily need another cheapie. Okay. You could absolutely get down and get a Brashard Smith. You can get a Isaac Tesla, Juju Smith-Schuster, right? But I just don't know that that's necessarily the path to success when you can get a Sammy Laporta for cheap. Okay. And then let's go up and if we grab a Travis Kelce. Okay. Now I can play Jameson Williams. I don't know that I necessarily want 3 pass catchers here. So for me, I would probably be going Jake Bates here. I'm locking in some points. I got 1,600 remaining. I do like that. It's that 3-3 construction, which we're looking for. Yeah, like that's a good lineup. If we were gonna try to build cash, I'm probably going like this. All right. So let's build a cashier lineup. Okay. I don't mind getting 2 tight ends, but let's build a cashier lineup with Jahmyr Gibbs in the flex. And that's 2,400 remaining. We're going to probably get rid of Bates here. So if we're building like a cashy lineup, let's just get all the guys. I would say, Amon-Ra, but over on this site, I think that's not the world's best play. So now what can we do? Let me get Kareem Hunt in, even though I know we can't afford him because we're going to downgrade somewhere else. So we're 600 away. If I got rid of the Tyquan, now I can come back and I got Gibbs, Goff, Hunt, I don't mind punting someone down here. I like Tesla this week. But let's say we're not going to play Laporta. What can we do? Because we're just trying to like lock in touchdowns here, right? We're trying to lock in touchdowns. So I got 58. Can I get 2 kickers? Like that's a nice cash looking lineup if we can get 2 kickers in there. Maybe even just 1. No, you can't get 2 kickers, but you can get Harrison Butker and like a Juju. That's a potential 0. But for cash, I get there on that. All right, let's go to DraftKings, build a couple lineups over here now. We are in DraftKings. All right, so let's build, like I said, I love some of these cheaper guys. How good does our lineup look with a Jameson Williams and the captain, right? 8,000 left. Okay, we go and let's just grab some guys. Let's just grab some studs. Let's go Amon-Ra. Let's go Mahomes. Can we even go with Jared Goff? Yes. Ooh, guys. I really do like this lineup. Hold on here. Tyquan. 65. Get me. Oh, I thought I was going to get up to Laporta. All right. Not getting up to Laporta. Let's say. All right. Let's go Pacheco. I'm a Kareem Hunt guy, but let's go Pacheco. And let's go. I don't really have a pass catcher here. That's a pretty good looking lineup. That's a pretty good looking lineup. If we did not go, yeah, I mean, we could basically upgrade anywhere. Yeah, I'm a fan. Now, here's the scary part is I put your guy there. I can get up to, no, I can't even get to Laporta there. Yeah, I like that lineup. All right, let's clear some guys out here. Let's go with the. Is there anybody even? Let's build the Mexico City game. Okay. Let's go MVP. Let's say that it is. I'm gonna go Jake Bates. I do like him a little bit more than Butker, and we got Goff on the road here, so maybe that's the trick. Okay. So we went Jake Bates in the kicker role. Let's go Amon-Ra. Let's go Mahomes. I'm gonna say we're gonna say no to Goff. And we're going to go and play some of these guys. This is like a funky lineup. Let's go. Brashard Smith catches a pass. Oh, I wanted to get to Laporta. No, we can't go. I mean, actually, that is about as silly for a Millie lineup as you can go. And now that I look at it, I kind of don't hate it. I really kind of don't hate it. So I kind of like that. If I go, okay, hold on though. But if I go Butker here, can I get Laporta? Do I have enough? Do I have enough? I don't think so. Yep. Okay. Never mind. That's the better lineup. And again, it's the Brashard Smith. I don't love it, but like, look at this. Let's look at this log here, right? 4 targets, 3 targets, 9 yards rushing, 4, like 3. He played 8 snaps last week and got 4 plays, essentially. Like 6.6 at that price, 2x your salary. I think that gets there. I really do. So again, we will have, I don't think there's really any injury news that we're looking for here. We're just maybe talking about Wiz Khalifa. Yeah, I'm not really concerned about anything here for these guys. So yeah, we will be in the Discord. We'll be chopping it up, talking about some things tomorrow. Good luck on the main slate. When you watch this, I'm hoping that we got a millionaire maker at DraftKings, and you're just pumping that money back into Showdown Sunday night. So I will talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Peace out. I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like and subscribe. Again, if you're not a DFS Army VIP, you're watching this, appreciate you. Use that code DFS Army. Gets 10% off VIP subscription. Cheers, guys.